Okay, so just a quick disclaimer before we get into this video. By no means am I claiming to be a female physiology expert and or a medical condition expert. I've always said in the 4 years I've been a personal trainer, I don't know everything, I just share everything I know. And so that kind of gets me into the reason why I'm making this video, because it's took me up to the point of 4 years personal training that I've only just kind of come across this subject, and I can't help but wonder if I'd come across it sooner and made a video about it like this sooner, it couldn't have helped more people. So with that said, if you found it useful, share it. Even if you don't have PCOS, share it, because I feel like it's a very unspoken element that many women don't speak about but could be suffering from it in silence. Now that that's out the way, let's get into it. Okay, so PCOS is simply short for polycystic ovary or ovarian syndrome. Quite simply, as the name entails, the ovaries have poly, meaning many, cysts covering them. However, that's just one symptom, but it's not the full thing, because you can have polycystic ovaries without being diagnosed with polycystic ovary syndrome, because there's two more elements to it that you would need in order to actually have PCOS. And they are irregular menstrual cycle, or amenorrhea, which is the discontinuation of the menstrual cycle thereafter 90 days. And the other one is increased level of androgens, which is a fancy term for male-like hormones such as testosterone. This can be noticed with things like facial hair or thinning of the hair, or facial or back acne, things like that. And so having cysts on the ovaries combined with one of them other two can in fact diagnose you with polycystic ovary syndrome. So I urge you, if you recognise any of them, to probably get it checked out. Now, this condition can affect between 6 to 21% of women. And unfortunately, it can put a lot of barriers towards weight loss, which is the reason why I'm making this video. Because although it's harder, and it will be harder for those with PCOS, there is a few things that we can do and manipulate to make things a little bit easier for you. So delving a little bit deeper, they are the symptoms, but it is the side effects from them symptoms that create weight loss to be a bit of a problem. And in no particular order, let's go through them. So one of them is insulin resistance. Now, stay with me, it's quite a big word I know, but quite simply, imagine over here is insulin sensitivity, and over here is insulin resistance. Now, the best way I can describe this to you is me, a young, fit, healthy male, if I say so myself. When I ingest carbs, my body breaks it down into glucose, that then cycles through my bloodstream. My pancreas will detect an elevated level of blood sugar, therefore will secrete insulin to put it away. Now, for every 10 grams of carbs we ingest and have in our system, our pancreas will secrete 1 unit of insulin to put it away. So if you imagine carbs, insulin takes it and tries to put it into cells. Now, carbs can be stored in muscle, liver and the brain. Now, my body will do that quite efficiently because, again, I'm a healthy, young, fit male. So carbs go into cell, no problem. Through that process, my blood sugar returns to a baseline of homeostasis and I'm good to go. I crack on with my day. Now, for those who are insulin resistant, that last part is not so efficient. You see, your body will struggle to actually take these carbs and put them into cells. Only some of them will actually go in. The rest will kind of halt and continue to go around the bloodstream. Because of this, your pancreas still recognises that there's carbs within the system and will keep pumping out more and more insulin, trying to overcome it. In the long term, this can obviously increase your risks of type 2 diabetes because of how much you're kind of wearing your pancreas out, cardiovascular disease, and a whole host of health concerns. Another one, which I think is probably the biggest kind of problem with weight loss, is you will have a lower BMR. BMR is basal metabolic rate. When you're stationary, doing nothing all day, you will still burn calories in order to keep ticking over, keep the lights on if you will. If you imagine me, rest all day, my BMR is about 2,000-ish calories because my body's still got to circulate blood, lung function, brain function, and to maintain the muscle mass that I have. And again, this will differ from person to person, but imagine that you, let's say 40-year-old female, 5'6", and you weigh 13 stone. Now, if we took someone more or less identical to you, but without PCOS, imagine their BMR, their basal metabolic rate, is about 1,300 calories. Despite you being the same weight, the same gender, the same height, etc., because you have PCOS, you will burn 40% less than her, which would put you up to only about 780 calories a day. Definitely didn't just Google that. So the point there, you can see, because weight loss, as we all know, is an energy balance equation, your energy going out, i.e. calorie expenditure, is a little bit low because of this. So weight loss will be a little bit slower. Okay, so now we get to the good news. Thankfully, there is a few things that we can do to try overcome the best we can to them side effects. So in no particular order, the first one, the biggest bang for your buck that you can do is weight loss. And I know I've just said it's a little bit harder, but for those who have the likes of insulin resistance, weight loss, losing weight, is going to be the best thing you can do to increase your insulin sensitivity. So again, if you're not doing anything for your weight right now and you have PCOS, it's worth looking at reducing your calorie intake, as well as keeping your protein a little bit higher and simply moving as much as you can. Because when you get your body weight a little bit lower, again, insulin sensitivity will improve. Therefore, the risk of type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular disease that we've gone over will be reduced. Another one that leads quite nicely from that is resistance training. If you think of your muscle like a sponge or a storage compartment, when our body tries to get carbon into cells, the more muscle you have, the more efficient it is, it can contain more carbs. So to improve that insulin resistance, weight training, working the muscles a little bit more will help that. And again, kind of, silver lining, because you have elevated levels of androgens, i.e. testosterone, you'll actually perform pretty well in the weight room. Another little diet hack you can do is try to consume more lower GI carbs. And all this means is you've got high GI, which basically is glycemic index. So if you imagine sweets, fruit, yes, fruit is a carb, biscuits, basically very simple sugary things, they very quickly rise our blood sugar levels. And again, for someone who's insulin resistant, that's not good. However, things like pasta, rice, potato, whole grain carbs, these are what we call more a lower GI or complex carb. And basically they release sugar into the blood a lot slower, which kind of just allows your body to handle them a lot better. So that's definitely something worth looking at. Another one I might add is intermittent fasting or going periods of not eating. Again, not only will that help with the whole calorie deficit thing, but fasting has also been proven to help with insulin resistance. So reducing your calories, increasing your protein, reducing the sugary foods within your diet and getting more lower GI carbs in there, moving as much as you can, especially resistance training as frequently as you can, and possibly looking at some sort of intermittent fasting protocol. And the last one I'm going to suggest is supplementing something called inositol. A very easy supplement to get hold of on bulk powders or myprotein.com. This has been shown to help with more regular menstrual cycles, better insulin sensitivity. It's also going to help lower the free testosterone within your system, better ovarian function, and a whole host more. The recommended dosage is between 2 to 4 grams a day. Results can take up to about 6 months to notice. But all that combined, I believe, is really going to help you out.